Greetings, Goddess, Body, Mind, Spirit community. This is your Goddess Guru, Tyra Olafemi, here to bring you a word of inspiration to assist you on your path to self-realization, knowing the fullness of who and what you are, and living that in the flesh. We don't have to wait to die to get liberation. We can have true enlightenment and liberation in the body. As well as on your path to self-mastery, which is just getting to a place where you're operating from your true self. And so the lower animal-like nature is not running the show. The ego is not running the show. But instead, the spirit of the divine within you is running the show, is allowing your gifts to come forth in a great and magnificent way, where you're living like a scientist of life. You know, it's so important for us to not believe. Belief is important. You have to have belief until you know, but at some point you need to know. And so I tell people, it's all about being a scientist. You shouldn't just believe what people say. You should apply what is being taught about life in general, not necessarily religion, but just life in general, and question everything to see, is it really true? You know, and that's what today's reading is all about, is asking yourself, is it really true? What I think, what I believe, you know, is there a reason why I do what I do? Or am I just, you know, programmed to do things a particular way? And so the more we move to a place where we are maybe learning what the divine laws of the universe are and applying them, you will see that they work 100% of the time. If you say, for instance, the law of attraction is not working, I continue to seek to manifest whatever it is you're trying to manifest. For some people it might be money, for other people it might be love, others it might be a career, a new home, a car of some sort. More than likely, there is something in you that's negating what you say you want. And if you really got real with yourself, if you really looked at like what your programming is, you would see that there's a reason you're not manifesting what you want, which is in alignment with the law of attraction. Wherever you are vibrationally, that's what you attract and draw to you. That is divine law. But, you know, I'm all about be a scientist. Find out for yourself. That's the best way to live. Don't ever just take what someone says for face value. It could be me. If you knew me, some of you who are watching this know me, and you know my word is bond. If I tell you, I'm telling you right now, A is it. I'm telling you. I know this. I don't care how much you love me and care about me and how many times I've been right in your life. You should still check it out for yourself. Check in with your own spirit and learn the laws of the universe and use them to create the life that you want. But the question is, what life do you really want? Do you know? So this week for the reading, I pulled Haru positive, White Chat positive. So we have a lot of heat. We have a lot of fire going on. This is a time, and with them being positive, things should be unfolding in a pretty easy manner if we're following the wisdom of the oracle. And so when Haru shows up, one of the things we have to think about is leadership. And it's leadership on all levels. We need to be a good leader of our own lives. It's most important. If you're going to lead yourself. Don't let other people lead you, okay, including the world. Lead yourself. Make sure you are doing the things that you need to do for you first, instead of taking care of everybody else or for some of us, instead of being a busybody, being in other people's business and letting them take care of their own lives, we need to be making sure we are taking care of our own lives. Are we taking care of our physical health, of our mental health? Are we taking care of our emotions, our spiritual health? Are we focused on our own family? Are we focused on our own career? Okay? And so be a good leader of yourself. But for some of us, we are in leadership positions. Some leadership positions are bigger than others. But when you're a leader, you know, it doesn't matter if it's just a few or a lot. It's a big deal to be a leader. This is a time to develop yourself as a leader. It could be that you're going to find yourself in a leadership position if you're not already there. But for leaders, this is a time to really just amp up your strengths, work on your weaknesses. This is a really good time for people who are in positions of leadership. And like I said, some of you may even find you're being moved into positions of leadership in the next few weeks. And so, you know, heads of household, parents, you know, just anyone who is leading, this is a time for you really and truly to just amp up your leadership, pay attention to it, nurture that leader within you. If you have a boss, it might be a good time for you and your boss. It might be a good time to ask for a raise, you know. I'm just thinking of all the different scenarios with leaders. This is also a time where you really need to think about your emotions. And you have to understand, if you don't think about anything else, if you don't remember anything else that I say today, remember this. It's very important for you to live by choice. You need to take responsibility for your life, take responsibility for your actions. There is no scapegoating on anybody. Whatever is going on in your life, and it goes back to what I was talking about in the beginning, we create our reality. So if it's things in our lives we don't like, we have to accept that we have something to do with it. And that's why self-realization is so important. Because when you begin to understand or live according to self-realization and know who you are, then what will happen is you will know you're a vibrational, energetic being that chose to incarnate into a body that is co-piloting your life. Co-piloting your life. That means you are in the driver's seat. The other part of the driver's seat is your divine nature. And your divine nature is what a lot of us would see or talk about as God. And the qualities of God are omnipresence, omniscience, omnipotence. And so these qualities of God, they all reside within us. And so us in this co-pilot seat with our divine nature, we have free will. Free will is true. We have choice to live however we want to think however we want to. And that's why I said you have to ask yourself, do I really think and believe all of what I think and believe? Am I just programmed? And yes, you are. We all are. If we admit it, every last one of us, programmed. The question is, are we living consciously or subconsciously with this programming? And so once we understand that, you know, we have this choice, we have to know whether or not our choices are like true choice or if it's based on our programming. Then what ends up happening is the divine nature within us is wise. And it has the power to make anything manifest in our lives that we think about, that we get energized and charged up about. What you love, what you hate. It does not discriminate. It all manifests. And so You have to take responsibility for your life. I've said it so many times before, it's so many people that were born into a situation that sucks. It's so many of us that were born into these situations where it really does. It was horrible. It was horrible. On the greater level, the non-physical, on the metaphysical level, we all choose what we come into because we come here to learn lessons. You know, I subscribe to other lifetimes, and maybe not necessarily previous, but we could say previous lifetimes, other lifetimes, where maybe I'm coming to work something out, and that's how I came. I had to come into this to finish it up from another lifetime, you know. It's no telling. We make that choice. It's very, very difficult to really grasp that when we see these little children being abused, when we see them hungry, when we see them neglected, when we hear what people grew up in. Is so our human nature, because we do care. As humans, we're programmed to care. It's hard for us to really accept what soul would incarnate into that. But if we will walk so much more empowered when we operate from that place where we say we transcend it all, because we know that ultimately we are not this flesh, that we are consciousness that's manifesting itself and having these experiences, that is trying its best to wake up. And the best way to wake up is to accept responsibility for all the crap in your life, even when you're like, I really don't even know how I got here. I mean, I know maybe I did make a few decisions, but I'm like, seriously, I don't know how I got here. But I accept responsibility for it, because when you accept responsibility for it, baby, you can get yourself up out of it. And that's the other thing that Haru Shango teaches. It is that your consciousness, you are consciousness. Your consciousness is a garden. Think of the earth. You know, here lately I've been fascinated with the earth. I'm like, how is it I can take dirt from outside, bring it inside, put it in a pot, and it's going to grow my plants in the house? How is it that I can't take a seed and drop it in sand, which is a natural substance? I can't just drop it in sand and it grows. It's something about the earth. It's just like mind-blowing. Well, our consciousness, the truth of our identity is the earth. It's like the earth. Think of the earth. You drop seed in the earth, and whatever that seed is, inside the seed is all the programming needed to make whatever it is grow. A plant, a flower, a tree. It grows and grows and grows in that earth. Well, you know, when you think about it, some of us live in places where the earth, maybe it's depleted in some way. Maybe it's all mixed up with some other stuff like clay. And so it doesn't do a real good job of making things grow. So what you have to do is you have to fertilize it with good things. You have to pull the weeds. That's what you have to do this week. You have to pull the weeds from your mind, because the weeds choke out all that you want to manifest, all that you say you want. The weeds, the negative thoughts, they're choking them out. The bad programming. Some of us have programming that said, you'll never be anything. You'll never have any money. Having money, you know, people who have money, they're evil. That's something I really have struggled with, because I'm from the United States of America. I just have a bad taste. People who have a little money, just sometimes they put a bad taste in my mouth. I've met a lot of people who are stinking rich. You would not know they were stinking rich because they don't define themselves by their money. But I know for a fact that fear of becoming somebody who is not kind and loving because I have money, that has been a weed in my mind. And so I had to pick that weed out of my mind and say, having money is great. It's my choice. I'm abundant, you know, being rich and all that, you know, that's really the way to be. And I can give away as much as I want to give away because I don't need it all, you know. I had to reprogram that. And it made a difference. my abundance started opening up. And so you have to ask yourself, what are these weeds in my mind that are preventing me from getting what I say I want? If you really want it, what's stopping you from getting it that's in your mind? And you have to plant the seeds. You have to fertilize up there with all the good stuff. Stop all the negative talking. And you have to fertilize it with good thoughts and plant seeds. One of the things you may want to do is to really check in with yourself. See, that's what Sean Goheru says. Check in with yourself. Why do you want what you want? Is it because the world says you're supposed to have it? So a blessing that I am finding in my own life is it's been like a delay in me getting what I thought I want. And then after I started thinking about it, I thought, why do I want certain things? Oh, because the world says you've made it if you have these things. Or this is the thing to have, you know, if you're important. And then I really started thinking, I don't even care about certain things that I thought I wanted. I want, you know, happiness. That's really what I want, however it manifests. I want family. I want good friends. I want relationship. I want connection. I want peace of mind. I really started getting in touch with what I really wanted. And some of the things I thought I wanted, I don't even think about anymore. It doesn't faze me. I'm happy if other people have stuff that I thought I wanted that I don't want anymore. It's like you really have to get in touch with why you say you want it, because maybe you aren't getting it because there's something else really that your higher self knows you really want. And the majority of us, what we really want is love. What we really want is connection. What we really want is community. What we really want is to use our gifts and talents, sometimes for the sake of it. If just, for me, when I dance, sometimes I'm just so in the moment. I'm so happy. I think when I die and go to the other side, I'm telling everyone, I got to dance to live drumming. It was awesome. I got to do Zumba. Oh, and Zumba is just so fun. If you ever go back in there, make sure you take a Zumba class, you know. It's things like that. And sometimes we want to use our gifts because somebody will say, man, your gift made my life better. That's what the majority of us want. But we have so much programming in us that makes us think we're missing out on so much stuff. And so then we're just so depressed and down and out because we think we don't have it. But you have everything. You have you. You have your consciousness. You have your mind. You have your spirit. And as long as you have all of that, even the ones in the world that don't, they have their breath. To have breath is so precious. Okay? That's what's really valuable. And so take responsibility for your life. Take responsibility for some good in your life. So many of us, we want to beat up on ourselves. You didn't do this and you didn't do that and you failed at this and you failed at that. But when was the last time you said, okay, I can say 5 things that I've done that's good. I held the door for somebody. I loaned somebody some money. Maybe it wasn't a lot of money, but I did loan that to them. I graduated from this program. I received a certificate of achievement and acknowledgement for doing this kind of, good on my job. The old lady at the grocery store didn't know how to act because she was so happy somebody noticed her when I spoke. Oh yeah, I do good. I do good. And, you gotta think of the good stuff that you do. So take responsibility for the good and for the bad. Don't be a crybaby. I don't like saying that to people, but I'm telling you right now, to be a crybaby is really selling yourself out. It's a waste of your time. And anybody that can really show you the way and be a good example, these leaders that we can be looking to for examples this week, they will tell you, come back after you're done being a crybaby. Okay? So if somebody tells you quit whining and being a crybaby, toughen up And some of us were going to cry for a while. I used to be one of the biggest whiners around. I don't do a lot of complaining, but I would whine, poor, pitiful me, all the time. I started driving myself crazy. So I said, I'm done with that, because it just really ended up being a waste of my time. So no being a crybaby. Get up and start taking some action towards making your life better. Do not operate according to your emotions this week. You know, emotions are indicators of whether or not we're headed in the right direction. They're bits of information. Yes, I listen to Abraham Hicks, law of attraction type stuff. Guess what? It works. So try it out. And what you will find, this is what Raul Nefer Amen, Metinetter, teaches, that every time you engage in emotion, that emotion becomes that much more a part of you. Emotions are bits of information. They are not our personality. And so what will happen this week is, if you find yourself operating according to emotion, you might find stuff goes terribly wrong. I have found every time, because I'm one of the ones where operating according to your emotions, you make a break. You cannot do it. Some of us, we just really cannot do it. I'll end up breaking something or forgetting something important. I mean, it's just like, if I hadn't gotten emotional, I would not have forgotten my iPod. Oh my God, when you show up at a Zumba class without your iPod, and you know you could have just been chilled out, taking time to think about, do I have my iPod? Yeah, emotions, they don't work. The other thing that I've learned and found to be true is that emotions have a biochemical effect in the body. And so what ends up happening is, because our cells are the smallest unit of consciousness, the cells in your body have consciousness, just like you think your consciousness is up here. Well, all your cells everywhere in the body, it's just one big master computer program, and it's just running through all the cells, and they're thinking, oh, she keeps having these emotional reactions, she's depressed, or he's angry, or, you know, just all this stuff. And then these cells will start saying, okay, this is how we do it. All right, give me more, sister, give me more, brother, more emotion. And so next thing you know, different situations are created just so we can have these emotional reactions. So you really want to be careful with the emotions. The best thing to feel is at peace. Peace is our true nature. But the one thing I will say that emotions are good at, especially if we have problematic emotions. See, some of your emotions, you're like, oh, I'm feeling this way, let me check in with myself. You know, it's like this healthy balance with what our emotions tell us. But with some of the problematic emotions you may be experiencing, probably are speaking, this is what Hebrew says, to programming from a while ago. Programming that occurred as an example, as a result of what your parents told you, your teachers, your religious leaders, the world in general, experiences that you had. So for some people, it may be, it's better to be quiet than to speak, because when I speak, I always seem to get in trouble, so I just won't say anything. And I don't care. It could be an elephant walking in the room about to trample somebody. They probably are not going to say anything, because they have this, this programming going on. And so a lot of times when we find ourselves getting upset with people and just having these emotional reactions, it's not what's happening right then. It's what happened a long time ago. And these emotions sort of kick in to help us protect ourselves from going back down that path again. But some of it is we get caught up into these dramas, and it's like, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like a revolving door or a loop. So when we see these videos, they play for like 6 to 10 seconds, and then they loop back into the beginning again. You don't even have to press play. It's a loop. And so we have these loops going on because on some level we like to experience these emotions, even though they're negative. and they're causing us to have relationship issues and just problems in general in our lives. We just stay on this loop because we started so long ago. And that's why we have to become conscious and aware. So, I didn't know that I was angry. I used to be depressed a lot. And I've come to find out depression a lot of times is stuffed anger. Well, after I became a mom, I could not stuff my emotions. My first son, he just had a way of pressing my buttons. But he was a sweet little angel. It was my thing. But I remember I said, you know what? I'm too angry as a mom. There's no reason for this. This kid is like 1 or 2 years old. What the heck? He's doing what 1 and 2 year olds do. Why am I so angry? And I started, when I would just start on the inside feeling like I was raging, mad, I would like take him and put him in another room or put myself in another room. And I would not address the behavior that was going on with him or anything like that because it was just too much anger and fire and rage running through me. And I just would let it just, I just sat with it. I wouldn't do anything about it. And I started realizing it had a wave-like effect. It was going to rise up and then it was going to go down. And I just started beginning to realize I have a lot of rage and anger in me that stem from my childhood. It's rage and anger that I didn't know really fully what they were. I knew some of it, but I didn't fully know what it was because I didn't know I was angry. And then I started realizing, okay, this is almost like a coping mechanism. I started realizing I have this thing going on with anger. And maybe it was my cells got programmed to it. I don't know. And then I just started saying, you know what? I'm not going to engage it anymore. I'm going to let it go. I did some forgiveness work and just continued to work on my self-realization process. And then before I knew it, I stopped feeling so angry. And so, I found myself caught up in the loop. I said, you know what? I can do something about this after I learned about the law of attraction. I can do something about this. I took responsibility and I started making the choice. And that's what you have to do this week or the next couple of weeks. Forever. Choose. You have to choose. You take responsibility by making choices. Do not emotionally react. And what I found was, slowly but surely, that all went away. I just was able to reprogram myself. And it wasn't overnight. It took several years. But it was all, I wanted it so badly. I wanted to be happy. I wanted to feel at peace. I did not want to be an angry parent. And so I did what I had to do to look at my programming, to get myself out of the loop, and to reprogram myself in a new way. So emotions are a big deal. Don't let them be runaway and renegade this week. This is also a highly psychic week. Now, we're in Mercury retrograde, which I talked about in the last video. And one thing that you want to think about with Mercury retrograde is taking it slowly. Do not run late, okay? If you're running late, just be late. Call somebody and let them know I'm running late. Because everything is prone to be slower. Accidents are more prone to happen. You want to back up, your technology. Minimize use of the technology if you can. Run some antivirus programs. Don't be mad. If I was at Sam's today and some couple was in the checkout line for like 5 or 10 minutes, I was like, oh, I'm so glad I'm not behind them. And I just said, Mercury retrograde. I could not tell. I've never seen anyone held up like they were being held up. I don't know what the problem was. But don't be surprised if you see those kinds of things. It's really a time to slow down, review, and to really sort of like regroup to get yourself ready to moving forward. We are in the new moon phase, so it's important to write down some new moon intentions, which should include honor Mercury retrograde. But the beautiful thing is with White Chat speaking during this time is that you're going to have so many flashes of inspiration. The best way to get it is through, slowing yourself down and getting quiet. But flashes of inspiration, trust your intuition over the next week. It's also a time for you to realize you're a psychic sponge, and so it's so easy to pick up on other people's stuff. But you need to be clear. That's another beautiful thing about self-realization. When you're clear about yourself, you are clear when you pick up somebody else's stuff. And what you need to do is send it right back to them, because it's all psychic. It's not like we're walking around picking up something that we can put our hands on. We're picking up energy. And so that's why deep yogic breathing and yoga, doing things to keep your energy clear and balanced. I am a part of the EFI spiritual tradition, and one of the things I learned was how to bless your head, which your head is considered your spiritual center. Not just the physical head, but there is a spiritual head that's there, your higher self, and when we're talking New Agey terms. And so it's important to every day clear your head. And the reason we want to do it is clean it. Well, it's a special ritual that you do, but you want to clean it so that you can hear. So we're not all clogged up. Fire. This is a fiery week. You might find yourself heated up. Exercising is just going to do you real good. Cardio. Working on your health, your heart health. Some of you may find that you get good news about your heart being healthier. Others may find you need to improve your heart health. Just sort of pay attention to make sure the colors that you wear are beneficial. The rooms that you're in, you want to avoid clutter. You want, to be... You want to make sure, just watch your energy, your energetic surroundings, your mental health, your physical, everything has vibrations, and so you want to make sure that the vibration of whatever you're taking into your body matches what you want. That's a good way to think about it, and that's why we don't beat ourselves up for the foods that we eat. We make a choice. It's not, oh, I gotta eat this. No, I'm eating it even though I know it's not conducive with what I'm trying to create in my body, the energetic effect that I'm creating in my body. Just make the choice. Take responsibility for it. So, with me being a channel for the energy of Yemonya, I cannot emphasize enough the importance of self-care and self-love. The more I look at the world, the more I think, oh my gosh, we really need to do a better job. And it goes back to what I said Haru says, managing ourselves. And one of the best ways to manage yourself is through self-care and self-love. Do not denigrate yourself. Do not put yourself down. Do not speak badly of yourself. You would not do that to other people. Even if it's just being politically correct, you would not say it. Don't talk badly to yourself. If you just gotta not say anything, that's fine. But don't put yourself down. Instead, find ways to love and nurture yourself. I find the more we are juiced up with love, the better we are for the world. So that's the lovely message I will share from Yemonya today. And just really quickly, the energy of Het Haru Oshun would say, babies, just be chill and go with the flow. Yemonya says, relax. Oshun says, be easy. Go with the flow. It's all good. It's all working in your favor because you are the creator of your reality. I am Tara Olufemi, your goddess guru, hoping that I have shared something that will assist you along your way this week or the next few weeks until I make the next video. I really appreciate everyone who takes time to watch these videos. If you can think of someone to share this with, it would just do my heart good. Blessings of the ancestors, blessings of the mothers be upon you. I wish you mega peace, love, and abundance. Peace.